is do the wonderful formula of ask and you shall receive.
And also it's a lot to do with what you put in your mouth. That's a huge amount of it.
What you
And
eat, you
that's also the alternative medicine.
Right, right. But it has to do with energy and creating it. But you're right. There is out there for all the formulas of medicine all over the world. Because let's be honest, there's more than one country that is ours here, right? So the truth is, other than allopathic medicine, there's all kinds of medicine. I can tell you how to sleep better, right, just by adjusting the pillows on your bed. And that's a form of medicine. How come? Because it's helping you. It's helping you, let's say, hurt less in your back or hurt less in your hips. If I say, put a pillow behind your leg and a pillow behind your back, but you didn't know to do that, so you don't do it, and then you can't sleep at night because you're hurting, but if we adjust the way that you sleep, then is that not a form of medicine? So it's about thinking different. It doesn't have to be like they teach us here, a pill, right? Yeah.
And this is very interesting because you just answered a problem that I had right this minute and didn't know it. And you just talked, my back has really been hurting a lot in the last few days. So I'm trying this pillow thing.
Yes, yes, and I'll give you some wisdom because I'm going to tell you something that's really out of the box. One of the things that I have done since I was a little kid is I've talked to God or love since I was this big. And they tell me things like that to help you. You didn't ask me that question. The angels, so to speak, already knew, and that's why that came out of my mouth. Does that make sense? As crazy as that sounds, my job is to help people. So people call me from all over the world, all over the country. I have a live show, and what we do is we do a ton of donation work to help people. That's why I'm here. Nobody's paying me, right? At least not yet. And that isn't the goal. The goal here is because I want to give back. I want to help people because we've lost honor, respect, accountability, responsibility, integrity. We've lost the whole family structure here. We've lost our families and our people of giving, excuse my French, but a crap about us as we get older and people in our families who are sick. They don't care about, excuse my French again, the elderly. They don't, if you haven't noticed. The whole mainstream of consciousness, or meaning the whole society, doesn't care. It's become a narcissistic society. Everybody's taking pictures of themselves. It's not about, this is my family, and let me get a picture of Susan, my sister, and me to capture this moment in time because I love her. It's about, look at me. There's nobody here but me. Do you see that?
Also, in so many other countries in the world, the older you get, the more respect. It's
Yes.
very different, it's opposite in this country.
That's right.
And the family likes each other and they live together.
Yep.
Not here.
No, and this is going to be changing. This is why I come out in the world and I'm doing what I'm doing, because this is not, to me, in my heart, from a space of love, this is not right, okay? Because all of you guys and me, who are a little bit older, have incredible wisdom to share with each other, to share with our families, to share with the world. But we live in a society of narcissistic know-it-alls, right? And it's not like, and if you look at nature, right? If you look at the lions, if you look at elephants, they have a matriarch. They have, what would you call it? A matriarch energy in the family. And we used to have those things, the father is the protector, the mother is the nurturer, and or both, right? Because there's no reason why we can't be all of those things. It doesn't have to be one stereotype, right? So in nature, there's a continuous respect and an honoring. And for our families, no matter how old they are. And as you guys will know, with age comes what? Wisdom. You've lived it. I have a 21-year-old daughter and an 18-year-old daughter. And my 21-year-old is going through her, what I call Miley Cyrus phase. OMG. And I said, girl, you can't. I'm like, you can't act like that. Thank God she stopped short of posting like risque photos on the internet. I said, whatever you do, don't post anything like that because it doesn't go away. You know what I mean? And that's not the image you want to present to the world of who you are. And you may think that's what you want to do right now, but 10 years from now, you're going to be in some other different space. And that's not going to be conducive necessarily to who you are and what you want to be and do in your life. You see? So today's lecture is all about working with love. And so far, does anyone have any questions for me? And do you understand what I'm talking about and what I do and what we do? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your name?
Lori.
Lori, okay. I'm going to try to remember everybody's name, but please don't take offense if I don't, okay? What's important?
I said she's sitting.
I can see her there. I can see her really well.
Okay, terrific. All right, hi Lori. Okay.
What's your name?
Oh, my name is Lynn.
What?
Lynn,
L-Y-N-N.
L-Y-N-N.
Okay, everybody got L-Y-N-N.
L-Y-N-N. Thank you. You guys were lovely. You're a lot of fun too to work with. And if anybody wants to share anything, please do. Please share. If you have a question, please raise your hand, because that's what we're about. We're about helping you to live your greatest life, whether you're 2 years old, we can get it in there, right? Or 20 or 80, right? Why shouldn't you have the ability to do that? And it's sometimes we get stuck in our ways and we can't think of anything as any different. And that's what stops us from being able to do things different, right? Because like in our lives, especially as we get older, like with healthcare stuff, we have a lot of issues we tend to have with our health, right? But if we don't try something different, so more often than not, I see people cross over or pass away or get even sicker because they're not open to some other way that could help them, like the pillows. Do you see what I'm saying? That if you don't do the pillow thing, and I'll give you some wisdom if you'd like, and you can try it. Because what happens here is not what I say, it's what you do in reference to what I'm telling you to see if it really truly works. Because you know as well as I do, it's not what people say, it's what people do that tells you the truth. And the same is true of love. If you love you and you want to have a good night's sleep and you take those pillows and put them behind your back and in between your legs, right? Well, either way, if you're sleeping like behind your back, right? I'm just using these as different ways, and you can put to give you all ideas for now, and then you can put them underneath your knees too if you're on an angle. Do you understand? Like a little. It doesn't have to be a big fat pillow. It could be a thinner pillow, right? But the reason the back came in is because you would get a better night's sleep if you did it this way on your back and put the pillows behind you, and that's why that came in. Does that make sense? Yeah, so just something different to try, a pillow between your legs. But again, play around with the thickness of it, the size of it, and what I do is for my knees is I use a blanket, and it's coming in for you, and a little baby kind of blanket, a smaller blanket, I fold it up, put it under my knees if I'm laying on my side, okay? I put the pillow between my legs, so if you sleep on your back, right? Or you lean on your back and you put these pillows behind you. Try all of these ways, but I'm telling you that this is how you're going to fix this problem.
So what do I do with leaving? Because I'm actually experiencing that right now. So what do I do if I sleep on my stomach? Where do I put the pillows?
Okay, so if you sleep on your stomach, why don't you try putting the pillows behind your back so you're kind of like on your side, okay? And then you put the very things that I just told you underneath here, in between here, all right? And then for your arms, you can even put a pillow up here so that your arm can rest. Do you understand? So then you won't get a lot of pain all through in here and in your shoulders. So try these ways, and you adjust it if you like this, because at different times, you have different troubles in your body. You know what I'm talking about? There's general areas that bother you, but there'll be different times in your life or different times in, let's say, the month, okay, when, let's say, maybe you walk too much and you have a different area hurting in you. Do you see what I'm saying? What you do in your life and across the board, those things can change. So you may want to adjust the pillows and the way you're sleeping differently. Now, if you're saying you're sleeping on your stomach, I'm going to ask them the best way. And they're telling me, even though you like to sleep on your stomach, for you, that's not really the best way for you to sleep. Even though you might think that it is, there's a better way for your best health and your best night's sleep. So that's what they're telling me to share with you. And you guys, I'm going to give you my card. So if you want to try something else, you can PM me. I'm not going to charge you because my job is to help people. It's one thing if you want to work with me long-term for health consults and we work together. It's another thing if you have a question and I came here and did a lecture and I want to help people. I will gladly share my wisdom always. Does that make sense? Like if you need a long-term appointment, I'm going to say, hey, look, there's more going on here and we need to do some other things. Do you see? The other thing that comes in for you with any aches and pains, do you use like a microwave heating pad?
I just started doing that while I'm sitting, like watching TV.
Yeah. That's gonna, see, I'm already picking up on you doing that, and that's going to help you a lot for your aches and pains. And the nice thing about the microwave one versus the plug-in ones, it only lasts for like 10 or 15 minutes, and then you can take it off, it cools down, and it gives you a break. Therefore, your body temperature is less likely to go up, and you have more challenges than when you put it in an electric blanket, do you see? And keep it on a constant. Does that make sense? We are so sensitive. If you're at this lecture, you're super, super sensitive. But those things all come in to help you. If you want, you can write them down. And if you want, you can talk to me later and I can type it out for you in an email or a personal message, okay? Do you have any questions for me? Okay. And you'll know by but if this is the truth about what I'm saying, by if you actually do it. But I tell people all the time, my dad used to tell me this, and I'm sure you can relate to this thing. I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make him drink it. And my dad has been telling me that since I was this big. And I know now what he was saying. I didn't then, right? Yeah. So the only way we really know, and us as being the matriarchs and the patriarchs of our families and our journey in this life at the space that we're in right now, us as being those people, we have incredible gifts to share, and with us being this in this lifetime, we can not only share these gifts, but then we can also live our greatest lifetimes and share all of this with everybody else. It could be with our friends, you know what I mean? It could be with our family. And so this is all part of my gifts to share and help you guys understand better what I do. And I will gladly answer any of your health questions, like when you said alternative medicine. Do you see how that works? So I tell people, they say, well, you're not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. But I talk with love or the angels since I was a child. So people could say I'm crazy, but I hear voices in my head. But I have my stuff together because I work with love or God or angels all the time to bring people the best solutions for them to be well, including myself. As you can see, I have a game. My whole family has become super sick with mold sickness. That's why. And it's no joke.
What did you say? Sickness with what?
Mold, poisons, toxins. Do you know what mold is? It's like when you have a leak in your home.
Yeah, I know what that mold is. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes. Yes, my family has become sick with it, right? And what it is it's an like an algae or a plant, a fungus really, that grows behind the walls. And especially during this time of the year, it kind of spreads and sends out seeds. Well, my whole family became sick with it. You know what my doctor told me? That it was autoimmune disease. And I said, you know what? I have 6 people in my family and we're all sick. And you're going to tell me that we all have the same disease, autoimmune? That's impossible. And that's not the truth, because we would have to be relatively the same age, right? Because they're telling me, oh, it comes in your mid-50s. You get it in your mid-50s. And I said to him, I said, well, my dogs have it, and I have 6 dogs. You know, I said, my dogs have it. My associate who works with me and lives with us has it. Okay? My 2 children who are 17 at the time and 21 or 18, 19 at the time, she has it. My sister has it. I have it. And we all live in the same house, and it all happened at the same time. There is no way. This is autoimmune, and each one of us has different symptoms. So you can tell me I have rheumatic symptoms, all that you want, doctor, but my sister can't breathe and has lung problems. My 17-year-old now has seizures, which she didn't have. Yes, because what's happening is it's poison. Molds, Lyme's disease, some of the stuff they put in our food, the chemicals that they put in the grass, they're really kind of poisoning us through the chemicals and the things that they use. And that's really, if you want to know the truth, what makes us sick and why we become down with these sicknesses. My whole family is proof of this, right? So if we got rid of the toxins in us and learned a different way to do that, and you want to learn more about this, then you do what I teach by working with love. How do you do that? Ask and you shall receive. That's the ultimate formula. Without putting all the religious stuff in it and all the traditional prayer, right? All you do is talk to love, God, higher power, angels. Thanks, love, for the solutions that are best for my best health now, please. Thank you for showing me where that is. Thank you for clearing any energy or blocks in me that stop me from seeing it, that prevent me from knowing, prevent me from doing. And thanks for the best solutions here from love. Thanks, love, for that for me. And that's how you do it. Take your time. You want to, please.
No, I was talking to my husband. No.
Can you not hear me?
He can.
Oh, okay.
But I'm also reading his mind right now.
Okay.
Just trying to get a message.
That's fine. Do your thing. We just,
I apologize.
no, that's okay. That's okay. We're gonna continue. Is that good for you ladies? Okay, so does everybody understand or have an idea of what I'm talking about? How to work with love, how to change your life. So you start here with something simple. How do I change, how do I find my car keys? How do I remember where my car is parked? How do I make sure that I have clean underwear for tomorrow, right? Or clean undergarments or clean clothes, right? I ask love for those to make sure that I have those things. And then it is so. It's words, thought, emotion creates out here from love, from wanting good things for yourself, not from a narcissistic point, but from a place of love for you. Because love provides us with everything. You see, God or love, let me 1 second, I'll come to you, does not always do what is best for us, whether we see it, understand it, or not. And the more we work with that energy, the more we understand it, the more we see it, the more better things happen for us, and it can't not happen because that's the way it works. So, excuse me a minute, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for me, and moving in here just a couple months ago,
Yes.
it was all a habit. I had to have a habit to do the same thing I used to do when I lived before I moved in here.
Yes.
And once I got the habit here versus the habit there, I was fine.
Nice. See, but you can use both earth world tools like that. Once I changed my schedule or I did things differently out here in my life, right? But you can use also, you can say, thanks for the best way to do things in my new home. Thanks for the best setup of my furniture. Thanks for me being happy here. Thanks for me meeting new people. Thanks for the best seminars. Thanks for everything that is best for me, the best healthcare, the best food. Let me love it here. Let me truly be happy. And you have all the power, right? All the power. And if you feel like that's not happening, then you know what I do? I sit down and talk to higher powers. Okay, God. Okay, love. I'm not happy. How do I change that? Clear this in me. Give me the best way to be happy. And what am I not seeing? What do I need to do to make me happy? Do you see? We all are part of the same design of that love energy. We're all from the same source, so to speak, right? And so you have the power, just like me, to change or to work with this energy to do anything and everything in your lives. Like a lot of times I see people all the time and they say, well, I'm old now and my mother does this. She's like, my life is over. I'm like, no, it's not. Your life is only just begun. It's all about perspective. Do you see what I'm saying? It's up to you. If you believe that your life is over, then at some point it's going to come to that. It can't not, because that's how energy works. And so if you feel like you're a victim, ask love to free you from that. Ask love if you want to know the truth of something. Ask love for the God's honest truth. These are all tools that I teach and do every day in my life and teach my children. And so you guys know, I've basically been working with God or love to heal my whole family. And my 17-year-old now barely has any seizures. And it's incredible because the medical field could do nothing for her. And then when I went to alternative mold specialists and poisoning doctors, do you know how much money it was? It was like $20,000, and they don't take insurance to get in their programs. How is that right? Do you see? And even a lot of the blood tests aren't even covered. They have blood tests and cell tests, and it's like $5,000 a test. You guys know what medical expenses are. It's ridiculous. And the other thing is, how is that right? Because the other thing they're doing with us older individuals, right? What they're doing is they're taking advantage of us. They know that you guys have worked all your lives for the money that you have. So it behooves you to be wise with your money, because they don't care about you. They don't care about that. What they care about is what? Getting your money. And nowadays, more than ever, when you go to the doctors and you go to different places, you really have to watch out, for yourself and all the things that you have built financially for you. Does everybody understand that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's not funny, and it's really a sad commentary on the world that this should be more important than being in our hearts and being decent to people, because here's what they're missing. The more good you are in your heart, the more you try to do good things from love. And I'm not talking just about doing good things for other people, doing good things for you first, loving you first, because everything else then falls into place, and not in a narcissistic way, but in a positive, healthy, good way, from saying, I love me. and I want good things for me. Not because the neighbor has it, not because your sister has it, not because you want to impress somebody else, but because you love you and you want good health for you. Or you would like a nice vehicle for you to drive in. Or you would like somebody to drive you around. Why not? If you need those things and you feel in alignment with those, that those are best for you from love, why not? Because if you think about it, God provides everything for nature. Why, or love does, why wouldn't it provide for you? And we have the ability that nature, in a different way, that nature doesn't have to literally just make it happen consciously and subconsciously by asking and communicating with that energy in our own special way as human beings. Do you see? But most religions don't teach you this. Why? Because if they teach you this, if you think about religion, it was the government from the beginning of time, and it wants to conform you, right? But there are good things within it. Do you see? Yeah, it wants to conform you, and of course, it wants to make you do what they want you to do, take your money, then you have taxes. Just goes back to like Michelangelo, Renaissance times. Yeah, so this is really what's going on in the world, and it behooves you guys to know for you that there's, I'm sure you already know because your life experiences already brought you to this place. You know that sometimes we have healthcare providers that take advantage of us when we lived in our own homes. Happened to my neighbor. He was in a wheelchair. He had all these gold coins. And just like you, I have wonderful metaphysical or magical gifts, and we all do. And somebody must have broken into his house, and this woman was a nurse who came and cared for him. And what happened is she told other people about the things that he had in his house. And then those people broke into his house. And the police came to me next door, and I had 3 big German Shepherd dogs next door that have a fence that goes right next to his, so they didn't come in through my yard. They had to know that too. Do you see? Because my dogs would have been all over that. We would have known they were out there, but they made a plan. They went in the back door through the opposite side of the house, and they threatened this poor gentleman with his own gun, okay, which is a nightmare. Okay, and they stole all his stuff, and the police came to talk to me, and I knew instantly it had to do with the person who was going in their home and trying to help you. And I said that to him. I went over there and said, hey, I just need you to know, I don't want to say anything bad about this person, but you really should look into this. And he was so adamant that this person would never do something like this. And maybe he didn't consciously, you know what I mean? Or maybe she didn't consciously do that to him. But to me, this is too planned out. You know what I'm saying? Where where the gold coins is. They knew where his gun is. They knew where everything of any valuable to them in his house was. What are the odds of that? There's no way you could know that. So I said that to him, but his relationship with that person made him not really want to see the truth. And when that happens, I ask God or love for the God's honest truth, and the answer will come. And you will find out. Just like when my daughter was doing drugs. I said, God, something's not right with my daughter. I know she's up to something. I said, what is it? And so then we're driving to an event, because I do these kinds of events all over the country, okay, and have been doing them for quite a while. And we're just getting ready to expand even more, because we got to change the stuff that's going on out here that isn't right, or isn't in alignment for love. Okay, so that's why we're doing this. But I said to God, what's going on with her? I knew she was up to something. And we drove up to Ohio for an event, and she came with me. And I said to her, I'm driving in the car, and she's quiet. And you know what happens? I said, God, I need to know the truth a couple days before. And she starts crying, and she starts telling me that she went over to so-and-so's house and got high. And I was like, there you go. It's right from the horse's mouth. She's telling me the truth. And I'm so grateful to God or love, because I asked for that answer. So now I know what the truth is, and then I can ask love, how do I handle this from here? Or one of my favorite things that I do, like when I do these lectures, I ask love to speak through me. I ask love to handle it. I ask love for the best people, the best of everything I need to do what it is that I do. And it automatically happens. And the more we do stuff like this, the more our lives explode with great things happening. Just like me meeting you guys. You're all beautiful energy, and you're lovely. You're in tune and in alignment, and are a lovely audience, really. So, and I feel that energy, but this is how I do it. Everything I do here, right, is what I teach. So it's about really being who you are and what you teach and loving what you do. What could happen if you actually tried what I do? What's the worst that could happen? Anybody got any ideas? It just doesn't happen, right? Yeah. And when something doesn't happen, and we've asked for that, there's different ways that we need to understand of how this love energy works. It's what I call law of universe, or law of universe in Earth world, how things truly work with love. So when things don't happen in the way that I want them to, like today I asked Love to be on time, and I wasn't on time, and I was like, oh, I was like by a few minutes late, and then Naomi called me up, and you know, I said, thanks Love for handling this, thanks Love for taking care of this, and everything was what? Fine. Nobody's angry, nobody's mad, nobody's upset, and I was only 10 minutes late total, so it's not like I wasn't here for 45 minutes, and I trust Love, or God, that, just give me 1 second, okay, and I trust that energy, that I know that if this is what I asked for and it didn't happen, that it was how it was supposed to happen that was best for me. Do you see? Go ahead.
And that is exactly what happened, because it took me about 10 minutes to try to solicit, because nobody was in here.
Yeah.
About 10 minutes to solicit all these people to come in. So your being late was perfect, because
See?
I had to take that time to
Thank you.
make everybody come in.
Thank you for sharing that.
All the ways that would have been any less.
Yeah, yeah. And then I would go home and have an early lunch. It wouldn't be my goal, but I do love food. Who doesn't like nice
So that
food?
was God's plan.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. But it wouldn't necessarily have been my plan, you know what I mean? Because I like to be on time. I like to do the right thing in Earth World. That's what I do and teach. So when I'm not on time, like the hair on my back goes up and I'm like, oh my God, you know? So thank you for your wisdom, because that's exactly right. What you said, you were getting people in here and we were on time. God's time, not my time. You see? Yeah, so thanks for sharing that. That was great. Okay, so
What happens when it doesn't happen?
when
Do you
what do you
think, she said she came to it and it was voted and that it happened. But what happens when it doesn't?
meaning if nobody came here,
Right.
that is an example?
Yeah.
Well, I was late, and that was the design of Universal Love, to create you guys to be here so I could be here. So that really was the plan. However, if if all of these events didn't work out in that way, then what would happen is it was meant that I was supposed to go home and not what's best for me. Maybe I'm supposed to get more rest. Maybe I'm not taking care of myself. Maybe I'm supposed to go out to lunch and have a good time. Right?
So you really, I don't understand, like, I want to be good all the time. I want to be joyful all the time.
Yeah.
My name is Joy, and a lot of
Beautiful.
people call me joyful. But I want to help other people to be joyful, because I am very joyful. I try not to let the bad things in. Like you just said, I just,
Yeah.
no, but you're not welcome.
Dark, right?
Yeah, but I don't want to overdo it. So, to people saying, oh, this is the way. I don't try to tell them how to do it. I try to the way that I do it.
So you set the example. And if they see that, and this is about boundaries now, right? Boundaries. I don't just come in and tell people all of this stuff unless they what?
You let them see.
Ask. I let them see,
I got it.
and I let them
That's
ask.
what I do.
Because if anything in this life, if you haven't noticed, like I used to have some best friends when I was growing up, right? And I would say, oh, I saw your boyfriend out with this person, and that's not a good thing. And most people are not receptive to that. They don't want to hear toxic things, and then she wasn't my friend anymore. But I overstepped my boundary, all because I can tell her that her husband or boyfriend is seeing other people doesn't mean that that's my place to. If she does not ask me about it, I got no business telling her. And this is where we run into so many problems in our lives, right? Because we're so busy trying to help others, and they're not ready for that help, or they don't want that help, or they don't want that assistance. So just like when they come into my shopping center, I usually wait for them. If you walk into the door of my spiritual home, so to speak, then you are opening the door for what I do and teach. Now, I may talk to you, I may not. You may come in and be shut down, and I may feel that you don't want to talk to me, and you know what that's like. That's called being an empath. So you can feel, too, if somebody wants you to talk to them. You can feel if they're not well, if they're not nice. All of you guys can, right? Yeah. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys have any more questions about all this? Pretty neat, isn't it? And all it is asking love, but asking it like a thank you. Thank you, love, for this, for me, whatever it is that you want. And then ask love to clear anything that's in your way that stops it from happening. And ask love that you're happy no matter what happens. Do you see? And thanks, love, for that for me. And then you have all the power and you let it go, because the more you hold on to it and want what you want to happen, the more I wanted to be on time, the more I was going to be late. Because I couldn't let go of it. Do you see what I'm saying? I had to be here on time. I had to be here on time. And the more I wanted to do that, right, the more that energy sent me to be in line. But either way, love or God took care of me and always takes care of me and all of us. It's really incredible stuff, you know? Okay, so that's really how you do it. You ask love for what you want by thanking love, because you know that love's already going to do it. And then you ask to clear anything that's in your way of that happening. Just like that. And then you ask love that you're happy no matter what happens. So simple. You can say it out loud. You can say it internally. Like, did you, and here's more proof to show you guys already that you know of how this works. Did you ever turn on the TV and you see something going on and you wonder what, in your mind, what show that was? Or where that's happening, and then all of a sudden they flash on the screen where it is, the name of the show, or a commercial comes on. It is the same way that this happens that I'm talking about, just a little bit different. You think it, right? Yeah. And then love, your heart, brings you, with your mind in balance, the answer. You see? Right in your reality. Because words, thoughts, emotion create. And you're in your heart, and that's why you want to help other people. So that's great wisdom for you and for all of us, and me too. And me too, and I am always learning. That's why I'm so open. I always try to be always, thanks love for that for me, that I'm always open to everything everyone has to share, because really, we're all experts at our own lives, and we have so much wonderful wisdom to share with each other. Do you see? Yeah. So all of this said, I kind of gave you the basic formula. Okay, so you know, and I gave you some examples of how to work with this. Also, when you want to be free of something, let's say you have a friend and every time you get together, you just go at it because you don't agree on stuff, right? Whatever it is. Or somebody you have an altercation with, instantly, you know what I do? Like if I know my mom can be challenging in our relationship and I'm working on it. So she'll call me up before I answer that phone. I say, okay, love, take this call for me now, please, and speak through me. So I know that if my mother gets on the phone and starts yelling at me or is having a moment, I'm not going to lose my SHIT, let's say, and yell back at her. I'm going to say, okay, Mom, you know what? I can see you're upset. I want to talk to you and I love you. I'm going to call you back in a little bit. Okay? That's how I'm going to handle that. Thank you. That's how I handle everything. If there's any kind of challenge in the moment. Let's say I'm out in the parking lot and somebody comes running over and I know they're going to attack me. I'm going to say, thanks, love, for me handling this now, please. Let me be free of this. Anything you want to be free of, you ask love to be free of it. Okay? And you'll be amazed what will happen. I had a boyfriend back in my 30s who lost his temper with me, right? And he came after me and he grabbed me by the neck and he was going to punch me in the face. And I closed my eyes and he said, please, God, no. Please, God, no. Literally. And that in itself was a prayer. And do you know he let me go? And I know it was because of that. Even if somebody has a gun or is more powerful than you would think in Earth World, the angels will come and make with your heart, with your soul, and all the power of love, and make sure that you are just fine, no matter what. And this is huge wisdom, because as we get older, you know, especially me too, right, with my cane and I can't get around and I'm having a hard time, sometimes I worry about my safety. I like to have somebody with me to be there for me as I'm adjusting to the new way of being for me until as my goal is to continue to be well, right? Isn't that all of our goal? To change anything in us that is sick in us or unhealthy for us, right? Yeah. So I have those tools in Earth World, but I'm always praying, I'm always talking to love. You could call it prayer, but it's a different way. It's just about talking to love all the time, like you would talk to your best friend or the person like your mom, the person who's supposed to, or your dad. the person who's supposed to love you the most and want the best for you in this life, right? Isn't that what love is? Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be that in the healthiest space, right? But not all of us have those experiences. But all these tools that I'm teaching you today will help you get along with your grandchildren, your daughter, your friends, anybody that you work with. And just all simply you have to do is ask love to speak through you and ask love to handle it, and you'll alleviate everything every single time. Every single time. And you'll say whatever needs to be said, that is what needs to be said from love. Even if you say it and then you go, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. Trust God or trust love that was exactly the way it best needed to be handled from love for you and everybody. Do you see? So this said, I'm going to give you a quick few tools because I know we have to probably wrap it up, I think. So you're always going to ask love for things that you don't want in your life to be free of them, right? Always create your life, the things that you want to happen by asking, thanks, love, for the best dinner tonight. Thanks for me having my favorite steak. Thanks for me having my favorite juice. Thanks for me having the best company, the best chair, the best comfort, the best seat. You can create anything. And thanks for that for me, and clear anything that stops that from happening. And let me be happy no matter what happens. And watch what happens. But I always tell people, give love or God time to make it happen. Right? If you say it in the moment, it's going to be more challenging to get it exactly the way you want it, the way that it works in the nature of this energy that is love, right? But the more you do it, the quicker it happens. If I didn't want somebody in this lecture, like if I had somebody give me a hard time in here, I wouldn't necessarily say it out loud. I'd say, okay, God, please let me be free of this person. And then their phone would ring, or they would get up and be like, oh, I'm hungry, and they would leave, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And nobody would even know. I wouldn't have to confront them on their toxic and ruining it or causing a problem for everybody else. So this is about ways to handle things in a different way so we can all live our greatest life. And it's so simple. Thanks, love. But it's amazing how many people in the world are challenged by that. Because it's really magic. It's magic in a different way. It's the magic of love. And then you have all the power. And you won't ever be the victim. And you'll keep growing and growing and growing into a more pure spiritual space. Love will take care of you all the time. And you won't even have to ask. You won't even have to ask for those things. They will happen naturally. Because you will be so in attune with love all the time as you keep going down this road. So, ask love to be free of the things that you don't want. You guys have the format for the general prayer. If you have any questions, I'm going to leave you my card. You can be in touch with me as well, okay? So you can ask me any questions about it that you want. If you don't know how to create what you want, then ask me, and I will gladly help you. It could be anything. Like, let's say you might not have the money for a wheelchair, or, like in my case, I would like a wheelchair, but right now it's not in the budget, so I think I'm going to just hang on to my cane and do that, right? And that's okay. And I know that when I want one, and I ask God for love for one, if I need that, it will happen, and it will happen when it is best for me. And I just ask, and I receive, and I let go, and I clear any blocks. And if this is what's best for me, this is what happens. Do you see? Yeah. So, ask love to be free of things. Create what you want. Ask love to speak through you and to handle anything that you're going through in any moment that you want. And ask love for things for you, from your heart for you. And this will grow us to even more higher vibrational self-love spaces, because this really is about loving ourselves. If you think about the lion, he has a steak, and he sits there and he has a steak, you throw him a steak, you try to get that steak back from him, he's not going to give you that steak, is he? And he's not going to give you anything on your property, on his property. He has a whole family that he has to watch out for and feed, and if you threaten him in any way, what is he going to do? He's going to come out swinging. He's going to attack you because you're not going to take his land, you're not going to take his family, and he will fight till the death for everything that he's worked hard for from love, okay? For himself and his family. He will fight for the death from self-love, because that's how all of nature and God is designed. You'll see birds in a nest attack snakes that are huge, cats that are so much bigger than them, because this is my family and I love them, is what the birds do naturally. Do you see? And they'll fly. And have you ever been attacked by a bird? They're very formidable. And they may be tiny as this, but they'll go at you, because they too have a life and a dream. And if they don't have nice things for them, right, then they have nothing. Do you see what I'm saying? If they're not in a healthy space to them, they got nothing. If there's nothing left for them, there's nothing. There's no life, there's nothing. If they can't eat, if they can't have a place that's safe, if they don't have a family, they're at a deficit. And this is the nature of nature itself. It takes care of itself because it all is all of the divine. It's all of love. And it's in the same formula that we are. But we have been so socialized and conditioned to believe that, especially women, we have to take care of everybody else and then us last. You guys got to know about that, right? Yeah. And we spend our whole lives caring for everybody else, including men. They think that they don't go to work every day, that, oh, you know, who's going to take care of their family? And it's a massive burden. It's a massive burden. And then what happens is we don't really live. We don't really live. And it doesn't mean we can't do those things. With this formula especially, we can do everything. Everything we want. How do we do that? We just ask love for the best plan. How to take care of me and balance that and love my family, love my life, do what I want to do. Thanks, love, for that for all of us from love. And clear anything that stops us from that from happening, and let us be happy no matter what happens. Okay, so that's pretty much wraps up my lecture for today. And do you guys have any questions before I go? And I'm going to give you the card. Could you pass out my card to everybody today? Thank you. If you don't mind, thank you. Ray is my assistant. Her name is Rachel. I call her Ray because she's such a ray of sunshine. You know, she's a lovely and amazing being, always helping me out, and I'm super blessed. And that's the other thing. I'm sure you guys know, gratefulness. Thank you. Thanks for Ray. Thanks for you guys coming. You know, thanks for everything that I need. Do you see? Gratefulness, being mindful, you know, being mindful meaning being aware of what we're doing, you know, so that we can say, oh, you know what? I don't like this in me, or I'm challenged by this in me, or I want to change this in me, or I don't care for this behavior somebody else does. It's not healthy for me. How do I change that? And these are all the tools, very simply said, that are great for everybody. And I live my life by them. And before this, I was a mess. Growing up, you know how it is. Youth knows it all. I am really my 21-year-old daughter. You know how it is. The family lines, they're just like us when we were younger. The same patterns, the same things, you know. And my father would say, this is another one of his old world sayings, he would say, I can't tell you nothing. We all know those faces, right? So thank you, everybody. I'm just going to sit for a minute. If you have any questions, please ask. I'll be glad to help. Yes?
The handwriting on the bottom.
That says alternative medicine. Because everything that I teach here is alternative medicine, right? It's just in a different way. You want to be well? Thanks, love, for this for me. Thanks, love, for the best doctors, the best natural medicine in place of the pharmaceuticals, or the best pharmaceuticals, or the best surgery, or the best doctor, or the best everything you need, the best bed, the best blankets, the best, you know, TV shows, anything in your life. Okay? So, you good? Okay. Yes.
Do you encourage person to say it aloud or silently or both?
I think both, and this is a great, excuse me, I'm sorry, go ahead. You had one last sentence you were saying?
Do you encourage people just to say those kind of things aloud or to yourself silently or both?
I do both.
Both.
Yep. And the reason is because just like Joy's example, well, how do I teach people without getting infringing in their space or trying to push my stuff on them? Well, you know, I'll go to, like, let's say Walmart. I really don't shop much in Walmart though, but I will go anywhere where I have to go and get something done, all right? And so I'll do that because, you know, I'll be in there and maybe I might need something. And the reason I don't care for Walmart is because I like quality products. If I want to be well or I'm getting something, I would rather shop at like something like Nordstrom than Walmart. But Walmart has its purpose for certain things. Does that make sense? And I don't want anyone to think that I'm an elitist or all kinds of crazy stuff, because that's not why I do it. But ultimately, I'm guided by love to do whatever it is that I'm doing all the time. My soul came in here to do this work, if that makes sense. Okay, now that said, when you say to me, you know, how do I do these things? So I will go to Walmart and I'll pick out something and I'll literally be praying out loud. People around me sometimes think I'm crazy. So if you don't mind people thinking you're crazy because you're talking to what they think is yourself, but it's not, but it literally teaches people. And then they say to me, what are you doing? And I'll be like, I'm talking to love, I'm talking to God. And then they think I'm even more crazier, right? However, they're going to walk away and they're going to wonder about that. And also, they're going to wonder why my energy is so fantastic. My energy is fantastic because I truly am this, and this is what I do. And the more you do this work, or the more you come from love, the more you're in your heart, the more fantastic and good your energy is. And just being around you, like people just being around you, Joy, you bring that wonderful, beautiful energy to them, and it helps to heal them. It helps to teach them, and you don't even have to say a word. Do you see? Yeah. So I do both. Yes. Any other questions? And do you have more to elaborate on this?
Well, I have another question too related because the foundation and your work. I know you have a place. It sounds like that you go
Yes.
for work. Do you ever do any phone consultations?
I do. I work with people for addiction. I work with people for mental illness. I work with people for medical intuitive, it's health issues, and life counseling, living your best life, changing your life. We also have chiropractic. We do energy work. So we do everything. If you thought of us sort of like a different kind of ARE, but in alignment with that. You know what the ARE is, right? That's the best way I can describe it. I think it's the Association, is it for Enlightenment? Is that the ARE? Research and Enlightenment, yes. Basically, it's what Edgar Casey's dream was once, but I'm not really buying it that they're in that same place. And I'm going to let that go at that without saying anything more, because everybody must follow their heart, and there are good things there as well. It's about finding those things in your heart. You may not do all of these things that we talked about today. You might do a few of them, but if you never try, you're never going to know, right? And you try by doing. Okay, so yes, I do. The answer is yes, I do. I do work with everybody. Whoever comes to me, I do phone consults, I do classes, I teach. We have a live show on Wednesdays. If you want to learn more about what we do, I gotta warn you, it's for everybody, and sometimes I get a little heated and emotional, and sometimes I use words that you guys might not like. But I'm going to tell you the truth. Sometimes I'll say S-H-I-T and other words like that because I'm passionate. Right? And I'm working on my stuff like everybody else. Thanks a lot for clearing that from me. Thanks a lot for giving me the best way to speak, the best way to do things, the best way to listen. Do you see? Just like all of us, I'm a human being. So people go, well, you mean you're not perfect? No. What is perfect? It's an illusion. Right? Perfect, really, to me, is doing my best to come from the best place of love and really truly be that in everything that I am. And that in the purest form. Thanks a lot for that for me. See? Yeah. Thank you everybody for coming today. I hope you enjoyed your lecture. Please tell them. Did everybody get my card? Fantastic. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on YouTube. You can personal message me. You can text me. If you don't hear back from me, do it again though. Because I get inundated with a lot of calls because like I said, I have a live show. I go all over the country and sometimes I can't get to everything. You know how our lives get. Sometimes we have lots going on, So please do, because I'm not trying to ignore you, and I will get to you. I'll make sure I say a prayer on it that I do get back to you.
I want to know how you got here.
How I got here?
Not how you got here, transportation. How did someone from here know about you and ask that you come? Or did you invite yourself and ask if you could come? I'm just serious.
Yeah. No, what happened is there was a neighborhood app on the internet, because the internet connects us from everywhere. And my sister was on that neighborhood app, and I believe it was Naomi, or I think it was Naomi, who sent out an invitation to anybody who wanted to come here and speak to come. And, depending on the subject matter. So then my sister called me up and she said, hey, you want to do this? And I said, you know what? I had asked God to be more in touch and come here and do things for people who are older, like myself, right? And to help change the family structure and all that is going on in the world. So here is one of my opportunities to do this. And no, please do ask. Yeah. So then I contacted Naomi. Naomi contacted me. And then here we are. I did one last week too on literal alternative medicine, like holistics and things like that. We talked about oils last week. You know, mostly oils, but other health stuff I was able to ask. And you guys can ask me about that too, because I'm not afraid. But you make your own decisions, because again, I tell people all the time, I am not a doctor. What I do is work with love. So I will give you the solutions that may be best for you, but ultimately, you have to decide, and those come from love. They don't come because I thought of them. Those come from higher knowing, because that's part of my gifts, and I work with love all the time. It's called medical intuitive. But it's what I do, I even consider it way different than that, because I do this with everything in my life, which then puts me in a different God space. It's not a better space than anyone. We could all do all the things that I do, and we all have these gifts depending on what we want and choose to do. Do you see? Because most people say to me, I want to be like you. And then they're like, but I don't really want to do that. Or I don't really want to do this. Well, just like anything in Earth World, you know, you didn't acquire, if you have great wealth in any way, shape, or form, you didn't acquire that because you didn't do the work. Do you understand what I'm saying? Everything is code of ethics, honor, integrity, responsibility, accountability, doing the right thing, right? And this is something we have truly lost. And this is why we're doing it again. Okay, so everybody good for today? Any other questions? Nope. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being a part. Thank you.